The Indian captain keeps the ship steady for his team at Edgbaston as India tested a lot more on day one in Birmingham than they were at Leeds. Varun joins us on ESPN Cricinfo Matchday to look back at the opening day's play from the second test of the Tendulkar Trophy. Varun, thank you for your time. Shubman, Gill, no shortage of pressure. I know it's early days and everyone wants to say that we don't want to put a lot of pressure on the young man, but this is a day that's begun with India trailing in the series, with those selection calls questioned. This was a high pressure knock.
I think Shubman Gill has what it takes to be a very big player for India in the days to come. He already is. He's obviously the captain of the Indian cricket team, the Indian Test team, and he's showing what he can do with responsibility, or what responsibility can do for him, especially with that first knock which he played in the first game. Again, backing it up with another century. These are just statement knocks, if you go to see. Because nobody, I wouldn't say nobody, but a lot of people were doubters that could Shubman score in conditions in England. I never had my doubts. I always knew that he's somebody like Virat Kohli who would just up the ante the moment you give him responsibility, and this is what he's showing. Yes, selection calls, his hands were tied with the Bumrah selection. Bumrah needs the rest because of the workload. But then again, the other calls as well. But nobody knows how this match is going to pan out.
Yeah, and he's joined Kohli in elite territory, much like Kohli. Centuries in his first two tests as captain, both of them outside Asia. So well done, Shubman Gill. And he's, more importantly, batted long in both these first innings. Prior to these two tests, he'd only ever had one innings where he'd lasted 200 plus balls. He's now done that in both these games. And that onus was particularly there for the captain. If you hear the words from Gill, from Gambhir, and given that while they've extended the batting lineup for this game, they've actually gone short on a full-time batter.
I mean, he said it after the last game, which was surprising pleasantly and also surprising otherwise. He said that the top order should have taken more responsibility, though the middle order failed and the lower middle order failed. That just shows that he knows that if somebody scores a century in England, they have to make it a big century, not just a century, not just score 100 or 110 and get out, but actually make it a big century. Yes, his century wasn't a small century, but I'm sure that he felt that that could have been a 200 or a 250 or something like that. I think he's exactly in that mold. Gill has almost conquered his impulse of punishing anything that's loose. It's been a very patient innings and a very un-Shubman-like innings, which you would generally relate Shubman to, especially at the beginning of his Test career, where he was smashing everybody in Australia, stepping out, big pulls, big cuts, booming drives, a very matured, I would say tempered down innings by him.
The other big knock of the day came from Yashasvi Jaiswal, but before we go there, I want to go to what was a quiet but significant portion of play at the end. Ravindra Jadeja walking out of bat, 211 for 5. Those scars from the collapses at Headingley, another collapse here, and this would have been quite a low shutdown for India. So the vitality of that knock and that partnership.
Look, Jadeja has a 35 plus average versus England. He's got a century in England as well. He does enjoy these conditions. In the first game, I thought Jadeja was too circumspect. He was being too careful, just not being able to get off strike. Yes, he was batting with the low middle order, but he could have still rotated strikes with somebody like Shardul Thakur and the likes. But this innings, he's looked very positive from the word go. He's not looked defensive at all, even against Bashir, somebody who turns it away from him, step down the ground, hit him for a couple of fours, not let anybody get settled. And this is how we want to see Jadeja play, and this is how he has played in the past, where he's put the pressure on the opposition and not really been there without scoring.
Quick thoughts on that effort from Yashasvi Jaiswal earlier on in the day. 87, loves playing against England clearly.
He loves it. I think he loves big games, big pressure, and big opponents. He's somebody who shines when the spotlight is on him. Again, coming back from those 4 drops and not the biggest score in the previous innings, that could have been on his mind. But knowing him closely, playing with him for the Rajasthan Royals, I think he's somebody who uses that as fuel to get runs. Yes, the way he got out today, he's not going to be happy with that. There was a nothing ball. You would back him to hit that for 4 any day of the week. But that's how cricket is sometimes. You just get out to bad balls, and sometimes you might not get out to good balls.
Yeah, a few dismissals of that manner in the last few times he's been set Is that anything to work on, or is it just one of those things that happen?
Could just be down to concentration. It's nothing else, because a batsman of that caliber getting out to a ball like that, sometimes you just, in a lapse of concentration or in the quest to hit the ball too hard, you do kind of edge these balls.
Thoughts on the English bowling effort? We saw a visibly improved Chris Woakes from the version we saw at the first test.
I think it was a marked improvement by the English bowling attack, because if you see in the first test, in the first innings of the first test, second innings they bowled a lot better. In the first innings they started off bowling really short. Yes, Josh Tongue was quite short today and was expensive if you go to see the scorecard, but the other bowlers really held it together. Even Shoaib Bashir really impressed me today with his guile, his flight, the way he changed up his pace, kept it together and kept the fast bowlers from bowling too many overs. Woakes, again, like you said, a marked difference, and that will happen with somebody like Woakes. Didn't play much cricket in the summer, because at the start of the summer, because he had an injury, just played one game for Warwickshire before the first test. So he's building up rhythm and he looks a lot better now.
Thoughts on whatever you can gauge from the conditions and what we can expect in the days ahead? What is a good total in the first innings?
I think a good total, going by what we've seen, is anything 400 plus with this English batting setup, because the more runs you have on the board, the more extended periods you can put pressure on them with their baseball batting style. Because if you don't have runs, then you're always caught up in that conundrum whether to save runs or to attack them and put fielders in attacking positions. If you have runs on the board, you know you have a huge cushion where you can actually keep your fielders in attacking positions for longer and attack them with the ball and obviously with the field.
Yeah, and it'll of course be riveting to see how it plays out for India, who've gone in with two spinners, none of whom is Kuldeep Yadav. Shubman Gill did say he wanted to bowl first, so maybe it was a good toss to lose.
He said that in the first test as well, but it turned out to be a very good toss to lose. Again, a repeat this game, and India have also followed a similar pattern this test as well. The way they lost a wicket before lunch, then they lost Rishabh Pant again in a similar time. Sorry, Jaiswal at a similar time when he got out in the first game. So very similar kind of games, but I hope India wins this one.
Yeah, the one thing that's already changed is that the last 5 wickets have already added some 5 times more than what they did at Leeds. Thank you so much, Varun. Look forward to your company through the rest of this test. Day 1 is a good day for Shubman Gill, right from the toss that he lost to the century that he's got again behind his back.